as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Hello, this is Jordan Peterson. I'd like to check that fact. What fact? I forgot.
Oh,
Damn good coffee and hot.
damn good coffee and hot. Damn good coffee.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I could try to make you laugh, but I probably can't. I'm not even gonna try. I'm waiting for news to load because I have nothing to talk about. Except I lost my Willie. Willie's a little late today. He's probably overslept. Some days, probably doing a lot of humping. Got up at midnight to hump, and it's over a little bit. Probably the deal. Maybe. Oh, good morning, folks. Have you got your coffee? It is Wednesday, November 8th, right? That's correct. 2023. That's correct. I got it all right. Good. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are. It got cold overnight. It was like I don't want to say summer-like last night, but it was a very nice warm night. But now I woke up to a freezing cold world. Freezing cold is like 40. What is it? I just want to check the temperature. Yeah, I'm Storm Napa with your daily weather report here. Let's see, what is it? It is here 40 degrees. 40 degrees. It's fucking cold. That's fucking cold. 40 fucking cold. That's what it equals. Anyway, if you don't know already, Republicans are stupid. And I don't mean that they got things wrong. You know, anybody can get things wrong. But what I mean is they're incapable of learning. They're unintelligent, stupid. See, what happened was, and this is really the breakdown here, and I'm going to clarify a couple of things on the political front for you before we get started here. And if that bothers you, you know, I'd be like Willie and get back in bed and wait for the sun to hit your eyes. I don't know. A couple of years ago now, the Supreme Court reversed Roe v. Wade, and the Republicans paid a big price for that in the midterm elections. And the red wave they thought was coming didn't come because people were rejecting the whole move by the Republican Party to outlaw abortions, all abortions in the world, in the United States, everywhere. And they've been campaigning on that, even after they took a shellacking. That just proves that they don't learn from experience. That's an unintelligent move. You do something, you see how badly it fails. It becomes a disaster, and then you double down on it, which is what they did. And they took a beating yesterday at the polls. Yesterday was election day here, and everyone who ran on we should outlaw abortions altogether, and yeah, abortion is murder. All of a sudden, they're like, they can't figure it out. Why do we lose? I thought, but Democrats, caravans, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. Turns out, if you want to take away basic rights from people, they will show up at the polls and vote against you. This is the lesson that they can't learn. Now, it's easy to kick a dog when it's down, but they were down. They got kicked, and they didn't learn their lesson. They said, "Please kick us some more." And dopey Sean Hannity goes on Fox News and says, Democrats are trying to scare Republicans into thinking they want to do what they want to do. He didn't say that way. He said they're trying to scare the people into thinking Republicans want to outlaw abortion altogether, which is exactly what Republicans want to do, outlaw abortion altogether. They went from abortion is complete murder to maybe 15 weeks is reasonable in 24 hours since yesterday. They're, oh, well, you know what? But they did that right after the Roe v. Wade decision, and they backtracked, and then they doubled down. And I predict that's what they will do again. It's just astonishing that, it would be easy to understand if one person was doing it, but the entire party is following suit. And here's where the media is going to conflate things and try to tie things together that don't belong tied together. First of all, they say this is a rejection of Trump. It's not, even though Trump endorsed these candidates, it's not a rejection of Trump outright. It's a rejection of abortion laws that prohibit any abortions. That's what it is. It's women coming out to the polls saying, "No, you're not going to tell us what we can do. We'll decide what we can do." Now, they also want to say that this is a counterbalance to polls such as Joe Biden was behind in the polls. It has nothing to do with Biden or Trump. They're not on the ballot. And as much as the pundits want to act like they're on the ballot, even when they're not on the ballot, because they endorse candidates or don't endorse candidates or whatever, it's not about that. Two things can be true at the same time. Democrats completely reject the attempt to outlaw abortion for for everything in the land, and no abortions. They can completely reject that, but they could also still want somebody other than Joe Biden to run because they don't have a lot of faith in a dead guy running. Now, I have said this before, and people think I'm crazy, and people still arguing with me over this. Because when RFQ first said he was running, I said he doesn't have a chance in hell. He doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell. But the more he stays in this, and the more Trump just becomes unhinged and looking to get himself thrown in jail, looking to start a civil war, looking to rile up another protest that turns into crazy people, just doing his bidding for him, and then he wants no responsibility for it. The more he does that, more Republicans are going to be looking for an alternative. Democrats are already looking for an alternative. And even though RFQ is batshit crazy, he's appealing to some people on issues that they care about, like abortion, like the ecology, like gun control, or dealing with mental illness. And at least he wants to do something, unlike most of the Republicans who just want to do thoughts and prayers. Anyway, so that's where we are today. Democrats won big yesterday. The media is going to be lying to you, saying it's Trump's fault, Biden's victory. It's none of that. You know what it is. I just told you what it is. There's only one place you need to go for all your political coverage analysis. Spot on, first thing in the morning. I got to take a shit because the coffee is strong. Political analysis, analysis, anal, analysis. Yes, it's analysis. That's what it is. Anyway, GD's here, but Willie's not. We lost our Willie. We'll get a new Willie, or get our Willie reattached at some point, but not just yet. So, good morning, GD.
Good morning.
Oh, you're muted.
No, I'm not. Morning. Mine dog coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, I get the shits. Mine
Uh,
dog coffee.
right. And Republicans had the shits all last night. And that makes you and your wife. Well, it makes your wife happy. I don't know. You know, you don't even care, do you? You didn't even vote,
Well,
did you?
actually, no, I do vote now. Since I'm a registered independent, I am not allowed to vote in primaries. Well, at least not in the Democratic and Republican primaries. I will get like if there is I may get like a ballot that will have one person on it for dog catcher or something, literally. And when I get that ballot, I take a picture of it and I post it because as an independent, that's the only choice I get
Yeah.
during the primaries.
You know what? It has there been an RFQ is an independent candidate for president next year, right? But he's not. He didn't. He's not affiliated with any party. It's not like the Independent Party. He didn't have.
Right,
He's not like with the Green Party. He's not with.
right.
He's just running as himself.
Unaffiliated, yeah.
So they
Which is
don't need a primary. That he's not running against
he
anybody.
just needs to get on ballots. He just needs to get on ballots in all 50 states. And well, I'm not even going to say like Puerto Rico and stuff like that because they don't technically have votes. They have votes, but they don't have representation.
Right. Um, do you think I'm batshit crazy thinking RFQ has a boxer's chance, a fighter's chance in this, puncher's chance?
I I don't think he has a shot. I think he has a shot as a spoiler. But because the Trump faithful, they're not just Trump faithful. They're cultists. Okay, and so if Trump for some reason is not in the picture, a lot of them are just going to stay home. They're not going to jump to another cult leader.
Right.
You know. Yeah. So so Trump has like a good 40% of those people. I mean, good 40% of the, the U.S. voters are just like stuck on Trump. And if he's not in the picture, they're not going to abandon ship.
Wasn't that a Lionel Richie song? Stuck on Trump. Stuck
Yeah, it
on
is.
Trump. Got a
Yeah,
feeling deep inside. Yeah.
that was a big hit.
Big hit. Big hit. But maybe Trump will be in jail. Maybe he won't be on the ballot. There's a whole lot of
But
maybe.
even if he's in jail, there's nothing that says he can't run. So they would still vote for him just to stick their thumbs and fingers in the eyes of Democrats. Say, see, we're not just stupid, we're really stupid.
I think he would have to run as an independent, and I really do think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I know I said spot on analysis, but maybe my analysis is wrong on this. But I think the Republican Party, if he's in jail, they will find somebody else to run, and then
If he winds up in jail, then the establishment. My estimate would be the establishment Republican Inc. I like to distinguish between the Republican money and the Republican voters.
Right.
The Republican Incorporated, the Republican money are probably going to go look for somebody more moderate, and it'll be too late for them to get Youngkin or someone like that. So they'll probably say, "Hey, look, Haley's not so bad," and so the Republican establishment will probably try to throw their money behind Haley because it's too late for Youngkin at this point.
Right. Now, are you familiar with the latest retarded conspiracy theory about all this? And Roger Stone and Mike Flynn have actually floated the idea that Trump. Now, this is it's not going to happen. I can't. But they think Trump might drop out and endorse RFQ. And
no,
right, no, it's not going to happen. But there are yesterday on Twitter, it was trending, and people were talking about it big time, like it's a possibility. And like, have you paid attention to Donald Trump? He's not dropping out of a race that he's ahead in the polls on, or even if he's close in the polls, he wouldn't drop out.
If he was last in the polls, if there was no poll, he would say the polls say that I'm winning. So it's just, there's no chance.
Mike Chavola just proves once again how disconnected he is from real political and analysis.
Yeah.
Most Trump voters will not vote for DeSantis. DeSantis is now completely attacking Trump and his agenda. No, Ron DeSantis ain't going to be it, man. It's not.
No.
I don't know who it would be, but it definitely would not be DeSantis at this point. They hate him. If you pay attention.
Most voters really are not that in tune with their own needs and wants. They look at candidates like, I think I could have a beer with that person. I'd like to have a drink with that person. And DeSantis is not that guy.
No,
Okay.
DeSantis, it's been he wouldn't even make it through the primary. He's not even in the primary. Chris Christie is polling higher than fucking DeSantis among the Republicans and in the debates and all that kind of stuff. No, it's not going to be DeSantis. DeSantis really is Mike Pence waiting to drop out. Is this next guy?
Most of them are. Most of them are just trying to get their next book deal or cabinet position.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's usually the thing. That's usually the deal with primaries, with presidential primaries. And you can tell the serious candidates from the ones that are just trying to make a buck off of it.
Yeah. Now Vanki is testifying today. Vanki.
Yeah.
She's no longer a defendant. I don't know what happened. Was she given immunity or something?
No.
This is just a headline that went by before. Scott McFarlane was at the courthouse, and he said she's no longer a defendant in the fraud case. Like, how did
right? Well, part of that, some of the things that they were involved in, that she was involved in what's it called when it expires? When it charges
statute of limitations.
Yeah, some of those things have attached to her, and some of the things some of the period she just wasn't involved in it. I think she actually, once Trump became president, she went into the cabinet, and the business was basically being run by Eric and Thing too.
Well, according to Eric, he I don't know, I have business. I don't know how. Wait,
yeah,
I don't know how to pick up a pen and sign my name.
And that's how you run the business. That's exactly how you run it.
Right. Neither one of them have any idea what standard accounting principles are and things like that. Neither Eric or Don Jr. So.
Neither did Alan Weissenberg. He didn't know.
The accountant.
He did not know. No, yes, the accountant. He's not even a certified accountant. I was like surprised when I heard it was like under oath. He was like, "Oh no, I'm not a certified accountant." And yeah, I'm aware that they're principles. I don't know what they are, and so there was no reason for me to even try to stick to them.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
You aware of what Rick Santorum came out and said last night? He said people vote, allowing all Americans to vote is bad for Republicans. Allowing America to vote is bad for Republicans.
That's true.
I know it's true, but you're not supposed to say that out loud.
The thing is, they need to say it out loud. Well, first, it's really funny how sometimes, the things that the Republicans have said out loud that are like so true that people don't pay attention to. Like, even back when Rove was relevant,
Right.
Their thing was, we create we create reality. We don't. Yeah, that's it. It was before alternative facts. They said, no, we will tell you what the reality is, and that's it.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I know people didn't tune in for political analysis. Anal sissies. Here this morning, but I just felt like yesterday was an election day. It was worth commenting on, especially since they just keep doubling down on this. And my prediction is tomorrow, or by the end of the week, they will be back on abortion is murder, and we have to kind of drill that message home. And next time it'll win. We're just going to keep going with the same thing that America has stood up and said, no, we're just going to keep telling
Or
them they have to.
or they'll say that they want reasonable reform and not define what reasonable reform is.
That,
They'll say 15 weeks or something like that. But that's not what their plan is.
that's what they're saying this morning, 15 weeks. But
Yeah,
as of yesterday, that wasn't the case. But we went through this when the Supreme Court reversed Roe, they did the
right.
same thing. But it lasted a day or two, and then they were back on. Look at they just fucking elected speaker. I mean, there is
15
no
weeks.
doubt what his position is.
15 weeks is the anti-choice version of just the tip.
Right.
They're saying 15 weeks, but yeah, once you put them in office, it's like, no, you're getting the shaft. That's it.
All right, let's get off the politics now. You did that show with Ron Kane Monday night, right? And do you have another one
Yeah,
tonight or something, or is it Friday night? What?
Thursday and Friday. Well, Thursday at night is actually the Reverends doing the show,
Oh,
and then Friday night, I am.
how long a show does the Rev do?
Well, the Reverend can do a half an hour by himself. Beyond that, because he doesn't really have a script, and it actually depends on it's really a flow of consciousness. He has like premises that he wants to touch on, and then once he gets going, it's like a go-kart heading downhill. And as long as nothing gets in the way, he's all right. But if something gets in the way, he has to start coasting again, and he has to pick up speed.
Ah,
So yeah, but
uh,
he's a guest on another show. He's a guest on Comics on Life um tomorrow night.
nice.
So yeah.
We have a late edition for tomorrow. I have to juggle some things around. Ron Collette is supposed to be on 10:15. I got to move him to 9:15. Shelley Belly uh, is a late edition. Uh, Michelle Ryder, Shelley Belly. You familiar with her?
Okay.
She
Is she a pole dancer? I don't know.
no, she's a comedian. I think she's got a Netflix special uh, coming out. Uh,
Okay.
she's in that stable of comedians that James DeBenedetto is manager for, and he contacted me yesterday. She's doing some local shows, and he asked if I could have her on there to promote that show. Absolutely, anybody he's got, I'm gonna have on. I'll give him, uh, I'll move heaven and earth to get them on. So she's going to be on tomorrow. Should be a good one.
Okay.
She's very funny, and the Vanessa Hollingshead stuff is
Yeah.
pretty. It's probably some of the best short stuff that is getting a lot of attention. I expect her to provide us with a lot of those too. So very cool stuff. Anyway, yeah. So
It's funny. I was just saying
okay,
the thing I did with Ron on Monday night. Um, there's a comedian there. This is my second time dealing with him, and he's one of those comedians who's has like 150,000 followers on, I think, TikTok or Twitch or one of those platforms.
right,
And so he feels like that gives him license to tell people what they're doing wrong in their shows. And the first time I met him, I did an hour set. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't supposed to be an hour set. It was just an open mic, and the sound guy for some reason did not show up. It's a small venue; it hold like 40 people, and there were like 20 audience people there for open mic.
yeah.
And there were two other comedians there. One who had never done comedy before. He just wanted to know if he could do 5 minutes. I said sure. And there's another guy. This guy, the one who has like 150,000 followers, wanted to do some time. And I said sure. And then he finds out the microphones aren't there because there's no sound guy. There's no sound
Wow, he
system.
didn't.
And,
He takes the mics home.
well, no, the sound system has got like a lockdown on it. It's like, no, everything is so high tech. In the old days, you had Radio Shack, you hit the power button, and you plug everything in. Nowadays, everything is in a computer, and you have to like access the software to
Right.
get the sound going. And so the
Messed up.
guy, and so everything was there. It's just that no one had a password. And so, but there were people there, and they showed up, and I said, okay, well, we'll give them a show. I'm gonna give them a show. And so I said to the guy, I said, look, we don't have a microphone, but it's not a very big place. We can project. And he goes, project? I said, yeah, just do it.
Project.
You know, like a
What do you got a
performer.
projector in the car?
Yeah. And so he's like, I can't perform without a microphone. I said, then you can't perform because this is not comedy. It's not a microphone does not make the comedian. The
Right.
stage does not make the comedian. It's the comedy and the performance that makes the comedian. If you can't perform without a mic or a stage, then what are you doing with the 150,000 followers and trying to tell me how to do my comedy?
Yeah.
So he tried it. He tried it because he was not going to be talked down by me. And he, after like 3 minutes, he gives up because he can't command the audience without a microphone.
Can you
So I go
put
up
out
and
his address, his home address? I would like to go beat him up. I would like to go beat him up.
no, I just know that he's in Utah.
Oh,
So I
that's
go up,
nice.
I do an hour. The audience is like laughing and having a good time. And not only that, they realize I don't have a microphone, so they're not talking between things, you know, and they're paying attention. They're laughing and they have a good time. So when I'm done, the guy says to me, "So how many followers do you have?" I said, "I don't know. Don't care." He goes, "I have 150,000 followers." I said, "That's nice." I said, "I don't care." And so he starts telling me the things I need. He says, first, he says, "You need to be like a little bit more snappy with your jokes." I said, "Well, first of all, I'm not telling jokes. I'm doing stories." I said, "So I'm not you." I said, "I don't do what you do." I said, and I wanted to say, "I don't come to your stage and slap the dicks out of the mouth. So don't tell me how to do my comedy." I didn't say that. I wanted to, but I was trying to be decent.
Well,
So,
let me just say something here.
hey, Willie.
Good morning, Willie. You woke up. Oh,
Hello.
you're muted. Uh,
Did you
you're not.
paint the
Am I?
wall?
No, I'm not. I
No, you're
can't be.
not muted. You're not muted. I'm fucking with you
No,
again.
I didn't. I wanted to. I really wanted to.
Let me just say
You know,
this.
I should look. I don't know who won the household football picks for the week. I know that I was close. I was in contention.
Oh,
But I did pick the Bears this week,
the
which
Bears.
was disappointing. So,
All right.
Is my audio good for you? Because you guys are
It's
cutting in and out
perfect.
on
It's
me.
better than it's ever been. It's not like over loud. It's not too low. It's right. It's right, which is
I'm gonna
amazing.
leave and come back.
No.
You guys are doing that Max thing on me again. I'll be right
Oh,
back.
but now you're gonna come back and your audio is gonna be fucked up. But go ahead, do what you got to do. Um, First of all, if a venue holds 40 people, what difference does it make if you got 150,000 followers? None of them can fit in the fucking place anyway. The other thing is 150,000 worldwide followers are not in York, Pennsylvania or Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Right.
How many followers you got here tonight? Because I saw that picture and I saw a couple of tables with people in it. None of his followers were there that night. So that's an important part of it. And secondly, you do you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now it's funny
You,
because those pictures, the front row is where I sit, and so nobody sits in the front row. People don't like to sit in the front row there. They like to sit in the back and along the bar.
it's not a smart move to move unless you want attention on yourself. It's not ever a smart move to sit in the front row at a comedy show.
Yeah, but I do it because it's funny for me when I watch another comedian. It's like I'm in school,
Right.
and I always sit up front when I'm in class. I just pay attention to
No,
to
I
the
get it. I'm
teacher.
not saying for you. I'm just saying for consumers,
Yeah.
so people who are coming to a comedy club, they're not working there, or
Oh
they're
yeah.
not affiliated with it. You're crazy if you go if you want to sit up front and you're not expecting the guy to do crowd work on you.
Yeah.
You're kidding yourself. You're gonna be part of the show if you're up front. And
Yeah, now when it's my show, when I'm doing like one of my shows, I tell people sit up front because I'm not going to pick on you. I don't do crowd work. I do crowd control. I don't do crowd work.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, this guy with the TikTok followers, the Instagram followers, that just you know what? How many of them live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? Can we talk about that? That's where I would have got started first off. Like,
Well, yeah, I go there, and then the other thing is I record all of my sets. but I'm not recording them for TikTok. I'm recording them for me.
Right.
Okay, so I can look back and learn what I'm doing right, wrong, or learn something new. And so he looks at me. He goes, "So do you have a 4K camera?" And I said, "No." Now hopefully I'm getting one this month. I don't know, but I'd like to get a 4K camera. And he goes, "You need a 4K camera." And I looked at him and I said, "For God's sakes, never, if you ever see me again, never tell me what I need." Okay. And I just went on this little tirade and he saw that I was on a tirade and he walks away and I couldn't stop my tirade for like 20 more seconds. The guy was gone and around the corner and I got to finish this tirade thought.
All right. Now back me up here and tell Willie he's muted, even though he's not. No, he I bet you all of a sudden he's going to be too loud again or something.
Or naked.
Or naked. Yeah. So yesterday we were on public broadcasting MTV, and I reached out to once it's done streaming there, it's gone. What the hell is that?
Oh, there's no
they don't
thing that-
archive it. No,
right,
so
archives, yeah.
so we're only live there when we're live, and apparently nobody knew because we weren't in their listings yet. So basically nobody watched it there. So
It's like the tree in the forest.
Yeah, I asked him, to get me some numbers. They don't have real in-depth analytics if it's only on your profile page. So it's got to be in their show listing, show schedule. It is now. I got getting a message here from Jackie. Hold on, let me see. Is he lost?
No, he just fell into a pile of weed.
Sent me question marks.
What? I don't know how to get. You know what? I can't wait till that computer thing happens because this phone is starting to drive me crazy. You guys sound great now, though. I can hear you.
You're muted.
Just fine.
You're muted.
Stop it.
Nah.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Listen, you guys are doing that about like my wife. She's getting so mad. So I told you that my hearing is like getting increasingly worse, and like, dude, my wife is getting so upset about having to fucking repeat herself, and like we don't talk anymore. She just yells at me, but she yells at me because she's said it 4 times now, and she's tired of fucking telling me the same thing. I mean, I don't know. I have a hearing.
Do you have a good ear and a bad ear, or is it just? Do you have a good ear and a bad ear, or is it just all of your hearing that's going to hell in a handbasket?
I used to, but now
I have a bad ear and a worse ear.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on now. That's what's currently happening. Is I have a bad ear and a worse ear, and I have an oozy ear, which is not nice. That's not good at all. I don't know.
How did it happen to you? I know how it happened to me. It's 35, 40 years of playing in rock bands, drummers bashing cymbals in my ears. How did it happen to you?
Okay, so
untreated syphilis.
Yeah, no, ear problems run in my family. Like my mother had terrible ear problems. I had 2 major surgeries on my right ear by the time I was 16. I had one when I was 10 and another one when I was 16. I had what was called a mastoidectomy because my mastoid bone in my right ear grew at like an abnormally fast rate. And so like they would have to go in and like literally grind down the bone so that it wouldn't like rupture my eardrum. But it was a cause of like constant ear infections and stuff like that when I was a kid. I had like numerous sets of tubes when I was younger. And then when I was 16, I had an ear infection that was so bad that like, and it came on like a Friday evening. And right away, my parents called the ear, nose, and throat specialist that we usually went to. And we made an appointment for Monday. But by Sunday afternoon, like I was in so much pain that I couldn't stop myself from tearing up and crying. Like it was.
Here's
so
a guy.
painful.
Just let me stop you right there. Here's a guy who doesn't cry when he gets his nut shot off, but cries for a minute.
Right. Well, and like, so I mean, so like for physical pain, I have a huge tolerance for physical pain, but it was
slow brain reaction.
Pain. Anyway,
what?
our guest is here.
Oh, Jackie, of course. Jackie's got way
Yeah.
better stories than me.
Onassis? You got
I
Jackie
bet he
Onassis?
doesn't have one story about an earache, but he probably has a joke about an earache. But
Well, I did. I mean, I was about to say that my eardrum ruptured, but whatever.
all right. Well, I
We
just
got
want to.
Jackie Onassis. I love Jackie Onassis.
Yeah, she's dead. Oh, is she dead? Yeah, she's dead.
How'd you get her? How'd you get her on the show?
I dug her up. And wait a minute.
I don't know how did you rescue
Really, I used the same picture that's in this Tubby Tubi promo with that same shirt, but I put the ice creams in his hands. Good morning, Jackie.
I turned this thing on and you're talking to. I thought I was on a medical show or something. What happened?
Willie's deaf. Willie's deaf, but I know how I got deaf, and I was asking him how he got deaf.
If he's deaf, he must really enjoy your music.
He does, and your jokes as well.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Jesus. So what was that all about? What do I say? He's talking about a childhood when he couldn't hear.
Yeah, he's like Harry from It's a Wonderful Life. He went swimming. He got he got frozen underground. His ear, he got an ear infection, and then he grew up retarded.
Boy, we really are out of topics, aren't we?
Yes.
How the hell are you?
Hey, you know what? I forgot to tell you. Kira got married.
No, really?
Yeah. The 2 days before you were on last time, when you were on with Bale, she got married on a Wednesday.
Man, well, there goes that.
And I said, "Who the fuck gets married on a Wednesday?" And then everybody agreed with me. Well, they were piling on. Yeah. Who the fuck gets married on a Wednesday? And then it hit me that Wednesday is actually Wednesday. It was named for the day that people got married.
No, you know she's pregnant. I know she's pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
It's probably mine.
Yeah, I think she got tired. She got tired of being what do you I don't know,
don't
unwed
use a
mother.
nasty word. She's a Catholic girl,
I know.
Hey,
I know.
question though. When you ejaculate, does the girl gotta mix it with water in order for it to be like semen, or? Because it kind of comes out like powdered milk, doesn't it?
Let's go back to your earache.
Yeah. Now, somebody with the handle fact on Twitter said there is enough. The semen has the same amount of vitamin C in as an orange, and I was like, that's a funny way to tell me we're out of orange juice.
No, that's a great way to talk your girlfriend into a healthy breakfast. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I try it out for protein shakes all the time.
Tell me what's the deal with this Tubi thing?
I have a very close friend who was actually the first guy that ever got me on video in 1978. He was probably the only guy that had a video camera back then. And
Black and white?
It came in my mother's attic. No, video has always been color. And he's just been a friend ever since, and he did all kinds of stuff. I don't remember. Do you remember the famous, well, I don't know how famous it is anymore, but the Patty Davis Reagan story about the joke I told that she freaked out?
Yeah.
Well, that was because I was at the Playboy party doing the Playboy's Hot Rock show, and Eric was the promoter of that. Well, he's got a friend named Mitch who's a producer out in LA, and Mitch saw my video and he said, "Wow, I really want to post that." And I said, "We really can't. I appreciate that, and I'm flattered. When it rains, it pours. I'm waiting around 40 years to get something on the internet." And he wanted to put it up. I said, "Listen, we got to wait until Joke Man documentary goes up." And then I said, "I'm doing Bert Kreischer's podcast, and it's going to get a lot of hits." And that's still going up and still going up. And finally, it's just at the point where I said, "All right, go ahead and post it." So it's a live show at the brokerage, I think 2015 or 17, whenever. But it was a great show. But those shows are always great. That's a great club. And it was, I haven't even looked at it. God knows how how much trouble I can be in because how many things have not really gone
Change
away.
that you
But
can't say anymore.
well, I still do, but it'll be interesting to go back and look at it and see if maybe I should have not done that one. But I don't really care. I don't really care. But it's up on. I don't know how these things work. It's on Tubi TV and it's on Amazon.
Right.
And
Awesome.
they, if I guess you got to search Jackie Martling live. I guess I didn't even look.
The link
But I
is in
just
the
I think
description.
it's
So,
Jackie at the brokerage, right?
yeah, live at the
Yeah.
brokerage.
And
Yeah.
I put it up on my I think on Twitter and Facebook yesterday just to see. I don't know if anybody's going to go look at it. You go on Twitter and somebody that you've never heard of in your life. Hey, this is Harry Schmidlap. I'm recording my 9th Netflix comedy special tomorrow night. I'm like, what? There are so many. Not only
Right.
so many comics. There are so many comics times so many one woman specials. Who's watching all these things?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I mean, that's part of the whole thing with the analytics and all that stuff. At least with podcasting and stuff, you know your numbers and you know they're real. But so with Tubi TV, that link is in the description. You don't have to be a member there to watch it. You have to be a member if you want to comment on it, share it, or give it a like or any of that kind of stuff. You have to sign in. But you can watch it for free there. Probably.
But
the
don't
same
you
on
have to have the patience to sit? Isn't there? I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but isn't there like a commercial every few seconds?
I mean,
No,
they're not
not
every few seconds. There's an ad maybe like every 15. It's like television. Like there's might be an ad every 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, really? I embarrassed myself, but Barbara and I, we watch old Perry Masons, and somehow they are entertaining and so ridiculous. It's like putting on an old pair of socks. But we were watching them on, I forget what we're watching them on. And like the commercials are like, not only are the commercials long, but they have a little countdown in the corner.
Right.
Your program will resume in 120,
Right.
119, and I'm telling you, it's an eternity. I said, this is bull. And I went on and looked, and on Paramount TV, they're there for free. And you know what? And there's nothing like it goes to black and comes back.
Right.
Goes to black and comes back. Where normally you'd be sitting there at 119, 118. And I'm just so worried that's great if that's not happening there. If there's a commercial every 15 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what it's like. It's like 15, 20 minutes in between commercials. It's not bad.
Yeah, my wife and I watch Tubi quite often, actually.
Yeah.
Watch my show and see if she likes it. Maybe you'll get a present in the mail if you watch it.
You know what I can't wait to see, because this is actually our favorite thing about Tubi. My wife and I's favorite thing about Tubi is that, like, if you watch a movie or a show or whatever, it'll just automatically select something next if you don't touch the remote. It just picks it. But it's like, it picks something that, like, is somehow...
Well, I bet you if you went for a walk, it would watch it for you, too.
Right, but what I'm trying to say though is I'm very curious to see what it's going to do, because it usually picks something in the same vein. You know what I mean? And so I'm very curious what it's going to throw at me next after I watch your special. You know what I mean? Like I want to see.
It's going to throw up another special.
Yeah, you mentioned Bert Kreischer, and this is funny because yesterday or 2 days ago when I found out you were going to be on today, I go to prepare this thing, and if you go into YouTube, I have an AI thing that suggests keywords based on the subject. I put in Jackie Martling, and all of a sudden, Bert Kreischer podcast, everything is related to Bert Kreischer when I put in your name now. Used to be Howard Stern. Used to put in Jackie Martling, and everything would come up Howard Stern and Baba Booey and all. Now it's just Bert Kreischer down the line. So I don't know.
But are they links to his podcast?
No, it's just for keywords so that people searching for whatever that on YouTube, if they search for Bert Kreischer, your name comes up.
That's great. That makes me sound a little bit more current, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
A little more cool, a little more cool.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about being a panel member on the Kill Tony podcast because they
Probably don't even know what Kill Tony is, do you?
No, I
Right,
did that. I
but-
did that a couple times, and they threw me out because I actually wanted to kill Tony.
It's in the name. It's in the name.
Yeah.
Who? I have no idea. You know, I've never been asked it. You know, the one thing I've done like that. Do you know Story Smash with Christine Blackburn? Do you know her?
Yeah.
And now she has a show called My Life in 3 Songs. And I did it with her yesterday, and she is just a delight. She was a comic, and then she wasn't. Well, she had a kid, and then she went back. But she knows everybody in L.A. And we did like an hour. You just pick 3 songs from your life that kind of define either your life or the era or whatever.
I don't know if I could do that.
That's interesting. I don't know about sitting there and, you know, what and passing judgment and these things where the comedians judge other comedians. Say, you know, you know,
Kill Tony
I
is very popular, but I don't like. It's done in a club. It's a podcast that's done in a club. You get a couple of comedians up on the panel, and then people sign up to do 1 minute. You got 1 minute to impress a bunch of professional comedians. You go up and do your best minute, and it's the worst people in Austin, Texas show up for it. No talent motherfuckers who just go up.
I did that in 1986. They called it Star Search.
Yeah, with Ed McMahon. Oh my God, I remember those. I used to dream about being on the Star Search stage.
But the biggest attraction to Kill Tony is the comedians making fun of the people who suck, who come up there for a minute.
How happy they are to them.
Yeah.
Also though, there are gems that are found among all the rough stuff. There are some gems that they find.
Can you name one?
Cam Patterson, all day.
Yeah.
Cam Patterson is like one of the, like, he is blowing up like no tomorrow right now.
That is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites.
Really?
I have no idea who the fuck.
I know. I've never.
All right. Here's the question. I'm going to ask GD Fenderson. Who is Tony?
Tony
I have
Hinchcliffe.
no fucking idea.
Tony, yes.
Tony
so
Hinchcliffe.
the Tony that's the host of the show is Tony Hinchcliffe, and Brian Redband is the co-host. He also runs a comedy club like right next door to the mothership called the Sunset Strip. I mean, and I mean, like, you're intertwined with enough people that I think it would be very easy for you to become a panel member for the show. I think they'd have you on all day.
You know, that's not my forte. You know, to just go be mean. You know,
right?
It's so funny. I just stumbled across some stuff. I found the stuff that I bombed very bad when we roasted Harry with the hair. Who's the black guy with the crazy hair? The boxer, Don King. We roasted Don King. Did I ever tell you about that? And
yeah.
I think I remember that.
The MC was Trump. So Trump actually introduced me, which is very weird. And I bombed so bad because I told 2 long jokes. And you got 3,000 drunken businessmen with the attention span of a flash cube. And I'm telling long jokes, and they just went out to lunch. But the first couple of things I said got on the AP and went around the world because I said, Don, you know, I think Mike Tyson's a little upset with you. Well, at least that's what he told me last night when he was parking my car.
Oh my God, bro! You were a brave dude.
I said, Don King combs his hair with static electricity. I thought that was pretty cool.
Is he still alive, Don King? Did he die? He had to have died.
I don't know.
I think he died, but his hair is still growing.
But
right.
That's
probably true. That's probably true.
There's so many stories about him. He went into boxing promotion when he got out of jail in Cleveland for double murder.
Right.
I mean, his story is just phenomenal. But boy, we had him on the show. Howard had him on the show so many times, and that guy could. I don't know whether he's still alive, but he could talk. I mean, he could talk for 10 minutes without taking a breath, and it was eloquent. You know, He wasn't just, you know, he was just such a bullshit. You know, he was like Colonel Tom Parker with a rap. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Very
But,
good.
you know, years ago I ran into a guy in the airport in L.A. who was a really great guy, and I can never remember his name, but he was the father on a very popular show in the 60s or 70s. What the hell was his name? A great actor. And he told me about this thing, and I thought for sure it was going to wind up on cable and be a big show where 3 or 4 or 5 actors, actresses, showbiz people, they get together and have a party and shoot the breeze like in a podcast, but they all play somebody from history. So you got like Joe DiMaggio, Napoleon, Hitler, everybody, and he said it's just, and they just do it for shits and giggles, and he said it was so fascinating, and I'm like, this is so long ago. I'm like, how could somebody not how great a show does that sound like? Or am I out of my mind?
No, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so interesting. I don't know. That was
Two
9 seconds.
things.
I didn't mean to bring
Okay,
the show to a halt there.
That's okay. I'll say I think John King is still alive because I just Googled him and it did not have an expiration date. It says
Right.
he's 92 years old. And
Well, I'll tell you
and
right
that's
now, when he dies, he's going to be talking for 15 more minutes.
right.
yeah, he'll be doing his own eulogy. He'll be doing his own eulogy.
92.
And promoting it.
Yeah, no, that's probably pre-recorded.
No, he'll promote his own eulogy.
Right.
92.
And in this box, in this coffin over here. No.
That's it. Go to Don King's funeral. Go to Don King's. Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny. What a character. Holy crap. Oh,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Are you familiar with Vanessa Hollingshead?
Well, even any part of her body, not just her head.
You could never forget that name, but we had her on. I don't know how she wound up on our radio show, but I think 3 or 4 times, and I really got a kick out of her. But is she a stand-up comic? I think.
Yeah. She just
did. She have a real interesting history, like she's from Germany or Norway or something.
No, her father is from England, but her father was the first guy to give Timothy Leary LSD.
I knew it was something interesting. She's really smart, right? Really
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
She headlined Six and Stones out in the Hamptons last weekend, and she was here to promote the show. But she told us a story about they used to they used to do LSD on sugar cubes. Well, she was like an 8-year-old kid, and she ate 9 hits of acid as a kid, or 9 sugar cubes, and was like tripping her brains off. And the doctor didn't know what to do, so they shot her full of Thorazine.
And the rest is history.
Right. That's how you become a stand-up comic. That's exactly.
That's definitely a part of it.
But yeah,
in my neighborhood, we just ate lead chip paint.
Same shit, right? So if she was on my show, that was probably 10 years ago, and so she's got to be what, like 40, 45?
No, she's older than that.
But is she still pretty?
Yeah, she said it's Botox and whatever it is, but
I guess, is that politically incorrect to ask? I guess
no, it's not politically correct to ask, because when she told me the story about her father was the first guy to give Timothy Leary LSD, I was like, you don't seem old enough for that, and then she clarified how old she is. She's my age, or around a little older than me.
Now, see, Jackie, you said, is she still pretty? That's fine. If you had said, is she finally pretty? That would have been a little different.
Or if you would have said, is she still ugly as a dog? That would be politically incorrect.
Right? Yeah. No. All of those.
But you can say still pretty.
You guys are right.
You can say still pretty. You just can't allude to the fact that there was something before that.
Not Rodney, but some comic years ago used to say, my wife is as pretty as she ever was, which really sucks.
Yeah.
But she was, I'm sure I have pictures of her. She was great. I gotta send them to her.
Yeah,
So
she's
was she fun on the show?
oh
Yeah.
great. She really good. I mean, and just full of life early in the morning. Like some comedians we get on
Yeah.
here, they're just like struggling to wake up because they did a gig the night before or whatever. She was just
Yeah.
she brought it.
Vibrant guest.
She was prepared to be entertaining, and she
Now
did.
what's
Yeah.
this sticks? What's this sticks and stones? You keep talking about it.
It's a new club out in the Hamptons. It used to be Southampton Theatrical Society or something like that. Abby Russell, who was the founder of Hampton's Comedy Festival and that did lots of festivals in New York back in the day, and I think she was affiliated with Caroline's. She opened up this club. It is really kind of more like a theater than a comedy club, but she's making it go out of in Southampton, and we're doing the best. I want to start producing some shows there.
Produce
Probably
one with me. Bring me and Bales out there. We'll do great.
Well, I was actually thinking about, I will bring Bales too, but I was thinking about having you because I'm doing a show with Erica. I'm thinking of doing a show. I proposed a show with Erica Rose out there, and so I think putting you on that bill would be a good move.
I will. Did you know that she was on stage with me at the brokerage the night I met my girlfriend?
Yeah. I told her that story, and she basically she recanted it word for word, basically as you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the story is corroborated, you say?
It has been corroborated. Yes, I fact check all my comedians here. This is what we do. You mentioned
we're big on
your
that. We're big
radio
on the
show
fact checking.
on Sirius, and I was thinking about this last night because, and I will exclude you from this group of people, but in the 80s, in your heyday in 80s and 90s radio, and right up to 2000 in that area, and where it went from FM, the morning shows were FM, and then they went to Sirius. Everybody who is attached to that still, even now 20 years later, is living in their glory days. And I'm talking, I know you're friends with Kumia. Him and Opie just never let it go. You got Stuttering John, and I don't want you to comment. I know some of these people are in your world, and you don't want to comment on them specifically. But this idea of they're like old couples who get divorced and still fighting it out in public for 20 years. Every day, Kumia talks about Opie. Opie talks about Kumia on his podcast.
Now I've done Opie's show a lot of times, and I did Kumia's show a lot of times, and neither of those guys, it never came up. I do Mark Simone's show all the time, and he might as well have Donald Trump living in his butt, but politics has never come up. I don't know. Maybe I'm just such a joke guy that we just we're either way above that or we're way below that. But it's not like we even dance around it. It's just not an issue. But
it could be like when I used to call my mom. When I was to go talk to my mom, she would want to talk bad about my sister, and my sister would want to talk bad about my mother, but they both knew that I didn't give a shit, so they just wouldn't go there.
Right.
Because they knew if they started, you were going to end the conversation. I go see my mother, and my mother, she wanted to bad talk my father. She knew I was going to get up and walk out of the room, so they just don't, or hopefully they're that thoughtful. But
your friendship with both Kumia and Opie is intriguing to me, though, because while they admit that they were fans of Stern's, they were rivals in a bit, or tried to be rivals of the show. So I don't know. It's just weird that they're both friends with you now.
Because it was never ever anything personal. Whatever Howard was doing, I just fulfilled my job. Like when he would start talking about Mancow and hoping his father dies of cancer, and then when he passed away, we're going to dig him up and have sex with his father's skull. Me and Fred would look at each other like I wanted to hold up a sign that says, everything that comes from this show is not necessarily the viewpoints of the rest of us sitting in this room.
Right.
Because I was, and I'm like, the last thing I would want people to think is that I'm writing, have sex with a skull.
Right.
There's some things were just, not my job description. And all those battles with Opie and Anthony, it was so funny. I'm sure we've been over this before, but when Howard started at WNBC and I started coming on, it was only one day a week, but I was pretty quick started to get aware. He'd only been there for like 2 months when I came on. And right away, he would attack Don Imus, who was on the morning show. And
Right.
he had the afternoon. So he'd be attacking Don. It's so funny. In my entire life, I was never, ever in the same room as Don Imus. People said, did you know him? Did you like him? I was never in the same room. How come that never happened? I will never know. Just luck or unluck of the draw. You know, he'd insult me, you know, the little fat guy, you know. But after, I don't know if after a week or after a month, however long, Imus went to the powers that be, Randy Baumgartner, whoever it was that was higher up, and said, I don't want that new guy talking about me. And they put the kibosh on Howard. He was not allowed to mention Don Imus's name. He put a gag order as far as Imus. And Howard was livid about that because he thought that was so unfair. And the truth of it is, if you're new and there's a guy up on the mountain, it's so easy to be down here and throwing sticks and stones and rocks at him because he's on the top of the mountain. And Imus earned his way up there, and he just didn't want that crap going on. And that was a whole big deal. Cut to 30 years, 20, however many years later, we're on at K-Rock, and Mel hires Opie and Anthony. And of course, they're bad-mouthing the hell out of Howard because he's always ridden them when they were in. And he went to Mel and said, I don't want, and Mel put a gag order on Opie. It was the exact, it's like Animal Farm. Remember, everything completely reversed, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to take shots at the guy on top, you know?
Right.
But that was nothing personal, nothing to do with me, you know?
Now I grew up in Baltimore, and we didn't have like Howard Stern in the beginning. We had like a guy named Grease Manelli, the Grease Man, and he had said something about he didn't want Martin Luther King holiday. No, I'll take that back. Not only did he want Martin Luther King's birthday to be a holiday, we should kill 4 more black people and take the whole week off. And so that got him off the air. Yeah, that got him off the air, and that's how we got Howard Stern into our market. I was upset because I had a list of 4 more black leaders I wanted to send him.
That was a very famous story. That's when I first came. I used to work in Washington, D.C., and that was the story. I came to D.C., and they told me about this guy, Howard Stern, right after he had made the comment about the bridge. And they said it was weird because he got the job because the racist thing that the Grease Man said. And then after, I guess, a plane hit the bridge in Washington, and Howard said something like, he supposedly called the airline and asked if that was going to be a regular stop on the airline. And then and his defense was that he had his finger on the button, so it wasn't a real phone call. The phone call and not the fact that he did, you know, so those days were just so outrageous, but that was really, really crazy. But now listen, I'm reading something down here. Hold on.
Evil Ian, who is a steady listener to the program, he wants to know, how are you friends with Kumi? I asked the same thing. Anthony's tweets are not the person that you are friends with, and that's basically what he's. If you should read his stuff on Twitter, he is, you know, he is what he is. But
does he personally attack me?
No.
Listen, this is how I've always run my personal show, and people agree or don't agree. If I'm friends with Mr. Fenderson, if I'm friends with Conway, if I'm friends with Napo, we're friends and we have a relationship. If all of a sudden you're not getting along with Will, I don't care. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm not involved in that. It's not electricity like in high school. You know, I'm friends with Eddie, and Eddie doesn't like Charlie, so I don't like Charlie, because you'd wind up being friends with nobody. You know,
just a point of clarification. Nobody's friends with G.D. Fenderson.
I was about to say I have no friends and has nothing to do with any of the stuff you just mentioned.
What? Did you ever consider changing your hair? No, but you know what I mean. So if I'm friends with this guy or that guy, you know, because there's some, especially in the comedy world, and this guy hates this guy, and this guy hates this booker, and this guy ripped me off, or this booker ripped me, until they do it to me, you know. But that's the only way you can run it. So
All right, I have to address this because now he's saying, "What if you're friends with secret racists?" First of all, I don't think Cumia is a secret racist. I think he's pretty, according to his tweets, I think he's out there. I have lots of friends who are racist. I don't think you give up. If you give up on somebody who's a racist, who you've been friends with for a long time, you lose any chance to ever kind of have any influence on them losing their racism.
Yeah, help them grow past that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Mark Simone and I. He used to come to see me for 2 years. The bitter end was called The Other End, and I hosted shows every Wednesday night. And Mark Simone and Henny Youngman's grandson Larry, and David Copperfield, who was actually went back to his real name of David Hooligan or whatever it was. They would come to see me every Wednesday, and afterwards we'd go out and have a few beers and have Italian food. And it was such a great, and my wife would be there. It was such a great bonding experience. So me and Mark go back to there. Now he's so Trump, but we don't talk politics. This is a guy that was supportive of me in the 80s. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to talk Trump or try and talk him out of it. You know, it's none of my business. And like you say, what are you going to do? Disavow people? You know, I'm
right.
You know, I'm surrounded by people that are, you know,
I have a.
What are you doing, Will?
Oh, I was grabbing something because I have an interesting story with a personal twist for this exact kind of thing.
Okay, well, you go ahead and tell this story. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Jackie, go take a break. Matt, y'all go get something to coffee. We'll be back.
Go ahead.
Now,
well,
Will, you weren't going to light a cross on fire, were you?
No.
Not this time.
Okay. No, about you know, because I often play the middle ground between like my family and stuff like that, or I have in the past. I've had to play the middle ground, especially with political stuff, because so it's election season, whatever. So it was on this day exactly in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected. Okay, this is also the same day that I had to talk wife number 2, who was my fiance at the time, and I was in prison. So I'm on a prison phone call on election day. Well, the day after election. So the day after, she's freaking out. So she's crying. She said that the Antichrist has been elected. The Armageddon is here. Blah 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 blah. Like she's went balls to the wall crazy. Now my sister is a Trump supporter.
Did it bother her at all that you were in jail?
You mean throughout our relationship? I'm sure it was a point of depression at times. I'm sure lonely nights. You know, that woman stuck by me for years before I got out. She really did. But then I got out and realized. Wow. Anyway, life is really different when you live with someone. Anyway,
what's on the paper?
That's a great name for a book.
Life is different.
Jackie, I just changed my hair. Now will you be my friend?
What?
I know. I got to ask Anthony.
Will, finish the fucking story.
Yeah. Okay. So. My sister, who is a Trump supporter,
was done already. Go ahead.
God damn it! You know what? I mean, fucking hell. All right. My sister, who's a Trump supporter, she got blocked by my fiance. So the day I go to get out of prison, my fiance wants to share like a cool video of me getting out and stuff like that, and my sister texts her. It says, "Hey, I'd really love to watch your live. Could you please unblock me?" You know what I mean? Because they had blocked each other over political differences and stuff. It's so ridiculous. You know
So
what I mean?
what you're doing is you're rubber stamping what I'm saying. You know, you have your sister,
Yeah.
you have your girlfriend, you have your wife,
Yeah.
and if they don't share the same views, it doesn't matter as long as you get along with them. You know,
Right.
it's too crazy. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
especially back in the music world, in the band business. You know, this guy's in this band and has a fight with that guy, and then they wind up in a different band. You know, it's the old thing. Like, there's so much craziness. How many times do you have a guy with a girlfriend, and he breaks up with the girlfriend, and you're like, you know, I'm so glad you broke with her. Oh, she was such a piece of shit. That was, you know, I never liked her. That was one fucking nasty broad.
And then they
the
get
next
back
day,
together.
they're back together. Oh, you
Yeah.
remember Rebecca? Oh, hi, sweetie. How are you? You rotten piece of.
You
You know.
just described my marriage. I don't know if you know that, Jackie.
It's worse when they because I have a couple that I'm friends with, and when they broke up for a couple of days, she was telling everybody he's on gay porn sites and all this kind of stuff, and like trashing him. And then they got back together like 3 days later, and now she's got to go back and say, I lied, I made that up. I don't know how she kind of.
No,
Oh,
I mean,
so
he got.
so we can't see him. We can't see him on the gay porn site.
No, he's
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's good. He went out, he got some dick, and now he's back. He's good.
You're seeing
He's
him
all
right now. He's up in next to me, and
I thought so.
I'm kidding.
I thought so.
No.
Funny, there was my cat got out of the house and ran through the woods and wound up at one of my neighbors' homes. I had not met these neighbors yet. This is on Christmas Day. My cat shows up on their porch. I go to get my cat, and they're in the middle of a fight. He's leaving. This is Christmas Day, and she says to him on the way out, "And just spend Christmas Day with your whore." And then they come outside and they see me with my cat, and I said, "I'm sorry, just my cat ran over here, and I was getting I want to take him back." And said, "Oh, your cat is always over here looking at our cats through the window." And she's like being so nice to me. She introduces me to her. Her name was Brandy, and to her husband Chris. And then I said, "Thank you, and it's nice to meet you." And I really want to say hi to your whore, but but I was like,
there's
Wow.
there's nothing like when you hear stuff that wasn't intended for your ears, because especially if a situation like that where you have to bite your tongue and you know it's going to be the greatest story of all time, you know, oh God, you know,
Yeah.
unless they're talking
I had
about
to be-
you, which, you know.
I had to be the good neighbor and not the comedian because I really want to say hi to your whore for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
does
just
she still smell? Does she still smell the same? You know, Jesus Christ.
She still got that red lipstick.
So Napo, do me a favor and plug my documentary. It's actually doing very well, believe it or not.
that's a joke. The Joke Man. It's on all the streaming. No. Joke Man.
Joke Man. It's
Not
very
The Joke
important.
Man. Joke Man.
Because when you search, if you put in J and then O, it comes up with John Wick the sequel, and then Joke Man. It's like the third one, so just after 2 letters, it's right
Nice.
there. And
Now,
you know,
is
I have
there
an old friend.
That feels good, doesn't it? That feels good.
I have an old friend who's been a friend for years. He's the original producer of Tony and Tina's Wedding. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever do it?
No, it's a dinner theater. I would love to do it though. I love that kind of stuff.
I mean, he's been making money off of that for like 40 years or whatever it was. Stuttering John was in it. I was actually in it after he stopped doing it. I was actually in it in Vegas, but I didn't play one of the characters. I played Jackie the Joke Man, who was a friend of the bride's father is a mobster. And he says, "Hey, I have an old friend from New York here. He wants to get up and tell some jokes." So I told some jokes at Tony and Tina's wedding as myself. And it was upstairs in whatever the hotel was. But there was a board meeting in the side. And the only way to get out was to walk through the back of the room. And Trump and 2 or 3 other people. And they stopped and watched my 15-minute set. This is many, many years ago. That doesn't mean anything, non sequitur. But this guy, Joe, I haven't been in touch with him for years. And his name came up, and I said, "What?" And I sent him my documentary link, and he wrote back and said, "Holy mackerel, that is unbelievable." And then he wrote back and said, "I just watched it again with my wife." He said, "I laughed even harder the second time." And he CC'd like 30 show business people that he's all friends with. So there's little bombs going off that are really helping this thing, so who knows.
The best way to see it is go to geni.us/jokeman, and it pops right up there. And then you can choose your whether you want to watch it on Apple TV, Prime Video, Google Play, Vudu, or any other of the networks that it's available on.
I don't even know what all those things are. Google Play that's so out of my realm.
Yeah,
Like I can handle Amazon Prime and iTunes.
Apple, movies, Apple iTunes, whatever, Apple Music, whatever, what is it? Apple TV. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Apple
Yeah.
TV. You'll find it there. Jenny.us/joke.
Now tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. What is Jenny? Is it J?
It's just, GENI. It is just the distributors website where they have all the links to where you can watch it on any of the platforms in case you're not on Apple TV and you want to watch it on Vudu, or you want to watch it on whatever, Netflix, or not Netflix, but whatever the other streaming network.
Now, if you know that, I should know that. I don't know.
You should know that. You sent it to me, by the way. I just pulled that out of one of your.
That's even better. That's even fucking better.
I just got an email from Jokeland as you're sitting here, like, well, that's weird.
I was about to ask you, Matt. Matt, while we've been talking. Oh, good. I was saying, Matt, while we've been talking, I've been getting these updates that you're posting things to YouTube.
Right.
Is that something that you pre-did? Like, it's time released? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we hired a new guy, Waldo. He's a new intern. He works here, and he's posting.
Where's Waldo?
Where is Waldo? That's the fucking question.
So the reason you got an email is me and Peter Bales are doing a show in Sweetwater, New Jersey, at the Sweetwater Marina. I've been working there for about 5 years. It is so far away, but the people are so great and so nice, and the crowd is they just pee in their pants at everything. So I do not mind driving 2, 3, 4 hours if I know there's laughs like that at the end. It's the ones when you're going 4 hours and you don't know if they're going to have a microphone. Those are the gigs
like in Harrisburg.
But these people are great. Sweetwater Marina.
Yeah, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They don't have a microphone there, but they have shows that G.D. Fenderson. I don't know host he's on, but they don't have microphones, so you just have to yell. It's like Garrett Morris doing the news for the hard of hearing.
Oh, that's so great. Hey, did you ever work at Soul Joel's? Yes. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I just got another gig there at Soul Joel's. Me and Rich Harkaway on January 19th, and he's not afraid of January. A lot of bookers are afraid of January.
Yeah,
nobody goes out, but I guess that ship has sailed. People just don't care anymore. If they're going to go out,
I'm a little concerned about because New York City has lost 3 comedy clubs in the last year and a half. That it's a downtrend again, and I think the oversaturation in comedy is contributing to that. But
not to mention all the specials and blah blah blah. Every time somebody announces they're doing a special, it's at a place I never heard of. Now, what clubs have gone under in particular?
Caroline's. What was
right?
Couple. Forget the other ones now. LOL in New York City.
That was not right on Broadway.
Yeah, and
I didn't
Dangerfield, right? Dangerfield's. But Dangerfield is going to be reopening in a new place or something. I don't know about that either.
You know the guy. I don't know if you know it. And I really wanted to do something with him, but he's still crazy. Rodney's original partner, who they teamed up in 1965, and I don't think they got Dangerfield's open until like 1970. Tony Labaqua, I forget exactly how to say his name, but he's 90 years old, and he's still sharp as a tack, and he wants to do a documentary and wanted to bring the thing back. I thought that the most iconic thing in the world was that Dangerfield sign, and I think it got destroyed. The
Yeah.
sign in front of the clubs that
Should
should
be
be in
on
Las
eBay.
Vegas.
It should be on eBay for somebody to
Yeah.
own. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would I would have bid on it. I don't think I would have been able to
Me
match it.
too. Me too. But
Um,
My
Tony's a
nemesis
great
has
character.
the old Nitwits Comedy Club neon sign that I wish I
yeah.
had. Because I would
Ye-
love to have the sign of the comedy club I started at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
What's closing up are the big clubs that were bringing in main acts and doing it like Caroline's
What?
Dangerfield's was never main acts, but it was a formidable spot, But it
Right.
seems like these other places are almost like, mom and pop things that pop up in a storefront and they're there for 10 minutes and go away. Or am I wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
I
mean,
I think you're right.
like I honestly, I don't know. I think I'm really less and less of a fan of like these brewery shows and stuff like that as time goes on. And I'll say this: I would much rather see these breweries and stuff do like a show once a month or something like that. That's like a really good show rather than a mic every week and a shitty ass showcase every
Now,
weekend
are
that puts
those
a
there for
bad
the
taste in
purpose?
the audience's mouth and makes them not want to come back to comedy.
Are they there for the purpose to get people in to drink beer there and find their way there type thing? It's not. Yeah, I've always said the same thing too. Like nothing broke my heart more than when me and Bales did a show and it was almost sold out. Not the one you were at, Matt, but we were at the brokerage at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. It wasn't sold out, but it was close. And the 9 o'clock show was like 6 or 7 comics, and you got to bring people to get on stage. Like, but
Yeah.
that's on a Saturday night. Now somebody goes out to a comedy show at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and they see comics, and they aren't any good. To them, that's what it's like to go to a comedy show.
Right.
In the old days, the
And they'll
point is
probably
to go
never
there
come
and
back.
get. The point is to go there and get blown away and be so pleasantly
Yes.
surprised. Like when we started
Yes.
Governors in the early 80s and the East Side Comedy Club, people go in and they'd see a quality show and it just caught on like wildfire.
I loved
You know-
East Side. That was my favorite comedy club back in the day. I loved going. I would go there all the time. I'm surprised I never saw you there because I was there. I would. In those days, it was kind of like the place to bring a girl. Like, if you got a date,
But
you're gonna.
I was gone by then. By 1983, when I started doing, I only did me and Nancy booked Governors from like 1981 to like the middle of 1983. I was on the Stern Show already because Howard and his wife Allison actually came to a show at Governors, and Fred actually got on stage with me. Fred and Howard at another point, but then after that, I was on the Stern Show and going places and getting paid, good money. So I did a few weekends here and there at the East Side. It was bad blood at Governors. They just screwed me over, but it was just business. But after the East Side, after we got big enough that we got syndicated and I started going to Chicago and places like that, I didn't do the Long Island stuff, because it didn't pay. Like I could do Rascals on a Thursday night because there were 400 people and they'd pay, $10 or $20 and Mark would give me the whole door because normally Thursday nights would be dark and he's got 400 people there drinking like fish. So, and I'm walking out there with 10, 12, $15,000, Club Benet. You're not making money like that at the East Side, but I always loved it. And then when they moved, I don't think I was on the stage twice once they moved to the second location, but that was a great place. And, Richie's been my good friend for 45 years now, the guy that Richie Minervine's the guy who started it,
Right, he's in Florida, right?
Yeah, he's all over, but he's on the ships all the time. But he's such a character. We've been asshole buddies for forever, forever and ever. You know, he's
95. Where now, Jay? Where do you get that statistic from? 95. I think 99% of statistics are made up on the spot. 95%.
Like this one right here, for sure.
What is it? Come on, what's going on here?
You know what?
95% of stand-up comics just aren't good. It's just very hard. Period.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to get political, but I can't stand this poll, that poll, that poll, this poll, this poll. I don't know one person in my life that has ever picked up the phone and somebody said we're having a poll that didn't hang up the phone.
Right.
Oh no!
I know.
No,
I take the call. I take the call.
Me too.
Yeah, I
totally.
take the call.
I never get
because I don't get calls. I don't get calls in.
Right. Yeah, and I was excited as a felon to as
muted. No,
as
you
a
really are.
registered
You're muted.
voted.
You really are muted. I'm not kidding.
He's frozen.
Oh.
He's frozen.
No, he's not frozen.
You're
He's
muted.
frozen on my screen.
Now
Fix
you're
your
muted.
phone.
Unmute that.
What?
GD,
Now he's
you're
frozen.
muted.
You're muted.
He's
Try
frozen.
talking.
Now
Talk. CD.
I see. He's doing this
Talk.
on my screen. That's it.
Talk.
He's just,
GD,
now
talk.
he's
Talk.
He's gone.
Use your words.
Anyway, let's just act like he can hear us. I don't know what the fuck. He's just smiling.
But the little mute thing is off, so he must be able to hear us
Right.
now. I mean, he must be
But
able
he
to
doesn't
talk
know
now.
we're talking to him. He's like, well, you said something there, and I almost said, listen, go out and come back. 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 Listen, I want to bring something up while he's here. Let me do this.
Oh,
You there? No, you got it. Now, Will, you're muted.
I'm here.
Will, you're muted. Will, you're muted. You are muted.
I'm here.
This is. He muted himself. Will muted himself. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. This is like the technically challenge show. Anyway, when last time you were here, I was going to do murder mystery the next night, and I did. And
with
Tony Walker.
Tony?
Yeah. And Bales mentioned that there was a drag performer in the show, a comedian that he knows, and the name is escaping me. DeRosa? No, not DeRosa. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he did the show in drag. He's the bride in the murder wedding, the mafia wedding thing. But the audience doesn't know that. This is a little weird because he's going around flirting with people, and they don't realize it's a guy. And at the end, there's a point where
wait. How do they not know?
Just think it's a fat girl.
How old? Old, young?
Yeah, I would say probably 40s. But it's in so much makeup and stuff. It just looks like a chubby, a big fat girl. And he's not that big, but the dress blows it out and makes it look like you would think it was just a really unattractive woman. But she ended up dancing with part of the audience members, and I think she kissed an audience member during the show. And then at the end, Eric is announcing, and I don't know if you're aware, but the bride is actually a guy, and he pulls off. And I'm looking at the guy in the audience, and he's sitting next to his wife, going,
That's how fights start. That's how
I
people
know.
get hit with a chair. You know. Yeah. Now I got a question for you. If the guy's with his wife, and the person in drag flirts with him and kisses him, but then reveals that it was a guy, does that make her less pissed off? The wife, does that make her less pissed off or more pissed off?
I think.
Oh no, she's happy. No, yeah, she's happy now because now she has something else to hold over his head in a fight that they're going to have 10 years from now.
Yes.
because they do pull it out, don't they?
Yeah.
They do. It's like reaching into Pandora's box and say, "Here's something you did 3 weeks ago, you son of a bitch." You know.
Right.
Oh, I remember my wife and I we were living in Florida. We were walking around the lake, and this couple walks up to us, and the lady is talking to me, and the whole time she's talking to me, she's touching me on my shoulder, she's touching me on my chest, and she's just touching me like this. And my wife is looking at me, and I'm waiting, and I just waiting to I know she's gonna say, I know she's gonna say something. It's been 12 years, and she hasn't mentioned it, and I know we just haven't had the right fight for her to bring it up.
or you're going to talk to somebody and somebody's going to touch you on the shoulder. That's like the time with Henrietta, you son of a bitch, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this guy's name. I can't remember his name. Bales will know it though. But the guy who played the woman, but the bride in the show. He is a regular in the Long Island comedy scene. I know he's in my friends list, but I got 5,000 comedians in my fucking friends list. More than half of them. I'd say 4,000 of them. I don't know. I never even talked to ever. But I'll find out about it. But yeah,
that's how
have you performed at the Sticks and Stones place, Matt?
haven't. I actually haven't even been there yet. I keep promising to go, but then something comes up. This weekend I had a funeral. My father-in-law funeral was this weekend, so I didn't go this weekend. So, but no, I haven't been there. But I've seen it, and I've seen the layout. It's gradient seating, which is kind of weird for a comedy club. Yeah,
But I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's like it's playing a theater, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's a very cozy and intimate type of setting. Thing I'm concerned. I'm
You know,
curious
do
about.
you translate things? Do you translate things in your mind when somebody says, "Do you want to work this club?" They say cozy, intimate, and what goes on in your mind?
Yeah.
You're not going to make any money.
Oh no, I think you're going to make
when
money
I hear
there.
Intimate, it's like
Yeah.
you know.
I think it holds like 140, maybe 160, something like that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's not a horrible size. You know?
And they're people. It's in a neighborhood that they spend money. So I think the ticket prices are a little higher than Gov's or what you normally see out there. So, but I think it's going to do pretty well. But I'm curious to see what those audiences are like because I am prejudiced about Southampton, and I think they're going to be a little stuck up there. I haven't been to those, but they're more of the wine spritzer type. They're not beer and and whiskey drinkers. They're
we did a charity thing here a couple of weeks ago. Me and Peter and Tugboat Manny of all people. He's a great guy. But at the Crescent Beach Club, we did a thing to raise money for the Bayville for the Baymen's Heritage Association. They're building a beautiful statue in Roosevelt Park to honor the clam diggers for the last 400 years. And they're building a beautiful statue. It's going to cost a fortune. So we did a fundraiser, and it was a real cross section. And I would imagine it's probably because in Southampton, there's got to be a lot of local people as opposed to the rich people. I'm telling you, this show at the Crescent Beach Club was rich people from Center Island, wealthy people from Bayville, poor people, clam diggers. It was such a cross section, but they roared it.
Digger, please.
Even a few of those, if you don't mind me throwing it in. But it's. I believe that whether you're rich or snotty or whatever, even if you're a wine and cheese, you still like. I don't know about comedy, but everybody likes a dick joke, and it really is a common denominator that, and it's so funny to see guys sitting with their wives that they think they would be so uptight, and the guy is uptight and the wife is pissing her pants because you're telling a pussy joke. It never gets old. You know.
Yeah. Now I start off. I let people know that I don't do dick jokes. I have penis commentary, and
that's very good.
I have penis commentary with a humorous bent, usually to the left.
Man. So you're like Bill Clinton.
Oh my God.
No, Bill Clinton. I thought 90% hang left. 90%.
Wow. How do you know that? That was part of the story.
That was probably a poll.
No,
that was
it's
a poll
another
that he
poll.
had.
Yeah, that's a poll.
I heard that in like 7th grade that 90% they used to call it you dress left. When they design, when tailors design clothes, do you dress right or do you dress left? You never heard that
Wow.
expression?
Yeah. The
Wow.
inseam.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I know that. I should not know that. To
Yeah,
me,
you shouldn't.
it wouldn't
Kids
matter
in
which
school-
way I dress. I dress stick out an inch. That's how I dress.
Kids in school in elementary told me I didn't dress right, but I just figured it was because I was wearing corduroy.
Jesus Christ. Mute yourself again.
Yeah, come on.
Ball sack. No.
You know what's weird when he's on stage at the comedy club and the entire audience is like, mute. You're muted.
Yeah, dude. You know what? That's good. That's probably going to be the new heckle for me. Is somebody just going to shout out, "You're muted"? But
Then you know they watch the show. They know
yeah,
they watch the show.
for real. I can totally see that happening.
The audience is looking for a mute button.
Yeah. Praying. I will say the last big show I did, when I did that last Comic Standing show, I was doing some Catholic material, and Sioux Falls is a very Catholic town, and it was not positive for the Catholics. And there was, I got like 3 jokes in a row. The first one got a huge groan, and then I got some subsequent groans after I looked at that audience when they groaned at me, and I said, just so you know, those groans are just as good as laughs in my opinion. And then they groaned a couple more times, and then a man shouted out, I'm pretty sure from the balcony, "Move on!" And I was like, okay. I was like, I probably beat the Catholics enough.
I can understand that guy's position.
For an hour, I fire joke after joke after joke for an hour, and then I get to a joke about 2 priests, and inadvertently some people moan. And I always say the same thing. I say, how dare you moan? That is the only true story in this entire act. And it really is it's about 2 priests that want to fuck a young boy. Everything else is jokes. That happens to be a documentary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Exactly.
He said some things always make me think of a joke. I don't know if you know this. What was Helen Keller's favorite color?
What?
Corduroy.
Yeah.
That's just so great, so bad, so wonderful.
And I see the particular shade of green that it is already. I do. I really do.
Yeah, I want to call the joke line, but I don't have the phone lines hooked up here today. I've been meaning to call a joke line, or like every once a week or something, just to remind people that it's there. But Sticks and Stones, I'm looking at. They filled up the. It's weird. They filled up the calendar, but I don't know the names, and that doesn't mean they're not very good. But because there are so many people in comedy today that you can have a week full of great headliners, and I never heard of them. So
and I don't know about you, but comedy club owners or bookers, they complain to me. They say, "Hey, like comics have to take it on the chin for all the rest of the comedy community," and they say, "Hey, I booked a guy that had 7 million followers on Twitter, and they came here, and either they didn't draw any people, or they drew a room full of people, and they didn't say anything funny." I'm like, well, look who you booked. You didn't book a comedian. You booked somebody,
right.
A content creator.
All 7 million followers are in the Philippines. That's why they're not.
Well, and that's see, that's the other thing. Like I had like somebody trying to get me to, I get that promotional stuff and for that, and I don't want numbers like that. You know what I mean? Like those, like I don't want big beefed up numbers that aren't fans of what I'm actually doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a joke on TikTok that for some reason it really caught on, and everybody really liked it. It appeared, and I got up to 985,000 views. And I was so excited because each time you watch it, it's clicking up and clicking up. And I'm not going to say who it is, but this guy I know, I said, I'm so excited because I really think I got a chance of getting to 1 million. And then like a week later, he sends me a text. He goes, "Hey, I got you to 1 million." And I don't know whether he bought him or how he finagled it, but I didn't want to just get it to say 1 million. I wanted it to organically reach 1 million.
Yeah.
And now it's like, that really
Well, if
sucks.
he did it legitimately, like if he did it through promotion and just sharing the link on everywhere.
No, I forget how he said it, but he said, I did the magic or whatever. However they talk in those.
Yeah, fuck those buying
circles.
bots and stuff. That doesn't. It's
Right.
pointless.
But like take our video, Lay Down Your Guns, for instance, the video you put together for the song we did.
Yeah.
Like that 1,000 views that it got, it's at 1,000. I don't even know if you knew that, by the way, that it's at 1,000 views already. But like, dude, because I understand that I'm fucking nobody. You know what I mean? Like especially in the music stuff, I'm Joe Blow nobody. But that video's gotten 1,000 views, and I'm super fucking proud of that because that's like the first thing that we ever put out there musically. You know what I mean? And and I know it's it's just been a little over a year.
Right. It's got way more than 1,000 views on Spotify alone. It's got 12,000 views. So.
Oh wow! I had no idea.
You're just talking about my YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, the YouTube. The YouTube video.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, techie characters. the Birdie Bert, whatever it's called, the Bert podcast, the Bertcast that I did, I think is it's over 110,000 views, and I love it, and I want people to go see it because everybody seems to really like it.
It's a great interview.
But people tell me that count, that's YouTube, but there's other people who also
that's
to it.
That's the YouTube views, but he's on Spotify. He's on, and
you
probably
that's just
have
one
about probably equal on Spotify views, but they're also just plain listens. And then he's on every podcast.
Yeah, that's just one platform.
Probably has way over 1 million listens to. Because that's by far the listens. People listen to podcasts driving and all that kind of stuff. It's replaced radio. So,
but my question, Mr. Napo, is there any way to know how many people listen?
There's a way to know, but you got to sit there with a fucking calculator and go to every different fucking platform that it's on.
And Bert might have people. Bert might have people that know that information.
Is there a way to find out how many people have listened to it just on Spotify?
Spotify doesn't publish those numbers, but there is a tool that you can dig through all that stuff that I have.
So it's not like it's obvious, and I don't get it.
No.
So how do you get it on? You just go to Spotify and do Bertcast, and it comes up.
Yeah.
I gotta learn this stuff. Jesus Christ.
You know what? Spotify is good because it's the one podcast distributor that one of the few that actually does video as well as audio. So if you're on a computer or a phone or something and you're not driving, you can actually watch it. And so
I had no idea that. That's cool.
I have a suggestion, Jackie. This might work for you because you're popular enough that you can have a fan club. You just designate a fan club president, send them some swag, and they will find all those numbers for you because they will be like, I want to please Jackie. I'm his fan club president. And they will dig through everything for you.
Well, you should take your own.
Are you?
You should take your own advice, GD, because you don't have a bean flicker in your.
No, because I'd have to have a fan to have a fan club.
Oh, that's
okay.
Yeah, I think that ship sailed for me. I think it would have to be me in mustache and glasses.
And this is not a dig at Kelly and what she does. I'm saying that as a function of a fan club and a president, you could get one of those. Actually, I can't get one of those.
Will has a fan club.
I'll take all comers. Jokeland@AOL.com if you would like to apply to be fan club president, chief in charge of nothing, and bottle washer. Jokeland@AOL.com. You get a free T-shirt. You get a mug with Ian's picture on it. You get I still have Jackie's joke hunt fart matches. Do you know what those are? Do you ever hear of fart buster matches? They're matches that you light them, and after
and they smell like a fart.
No, the rest of the match is incense. So you light a match and blow it out, and you have incense, and you light it after you go to the bathroom. Only the bathroom smells like the fucking incense for the rest of your life, which is almost as bad as the smell of the poop.
Light a match, dude. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna send a pile of them to you, Will. I'm gonna send a bunch to you. And the good news is the smell will overcome the smell of anything else I might be sending you.
Except for Will's jokes. They won't overcome. No.
Oh, no. There's no killing it. Hey, we had a harvest party the other night, and Crop 2023, Jokeland Crop 2023 was the star of the show. Everybody really, really loved it. It was great.
Now,
great,
had
great.
that guy smoking like 3 joints at once. That was kind of weird. Like
no, that's. Have you seen that? That's like a slingshot, like a Y. It's like a Y connector, so it takes 2 joints in it. And it's like, it's just crazy.
Nice.
You know?
It's a Cheech and Chong type of thing.
Yeah. I had a one of my nephews had like a triple bowl like steamroller that had 3 bowls on it that was super dope.
So what do you do with that? You mix blends? Is that the whole concept?
I mean, you sure can, yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense if they're both the same blend, but if they're different blends, it makes sense.
Oh, sure. Look at all that smoke going away. Oh, now he's in a cloud. Wow. A lot of weed.
Have you seen those videos where like they're just like they got it hooked up to like a blower, and then somebody's like hitting a torch, and they're just like it's an industrial blower, like what you would use to like dry a floor that was wet or something, and they're just just blowing weed into the whole room. Just
after all is said and done with the gummies and the this and the that and the bubble hash, I just like a joint and take a couple tokes, and if I'm not that high, maybe take another couple tokes.
Right.
And just that's all I want. You know, and I got so much. I got so much goddamn pot.
I love the I love the whole gambit of it.
Well, let me just say this: you don't do a bunch of gummies and smoke a joint of like the highest octane weed that they have at the place in Farmingdale when you go to a funeral that everybody hates your guts at, because that's what I did the other day, and it was like a surreal experience. It was my wife's family doesn't like me. Or everybody there doesn't like me. It's like I'm an outcast. I'm sitting.
Why don't they like you?
I mean, I'm pretty. If you have to guess that, you probably. But I'm unlikable. I'm a very unlikable guy. Whatever. But I'm there stoned out of my mind now, and I'm sitting in the corner watching people, and I'm like at a funeral where they don't even like each other. It's just like a cluster of shit. But now I'm compelled to go up and have a conversation with the corpse, and we had a lot to talk about. But it was a very. You don't do that. That's my point. You don't get all gummied up and stoned out on the good weed on your way to a place, and then have to sit there by yourself as an outcast. It's just you and the corpse.
Who smokes pot and goes to a funeral? Are you out of your mind?
I mean, definitely me.
I was
high as shit at my parents' funerals.
I just knew it was going to be I'm talking about the wake, first of all. That was a long day. It was like, getting ready in the morning to go there, and then till late at night. And
do you know the famous joke about the woman that goes to view her husband's body before the wake? That's the world's oldest joke. Do you know that?
I don't know. If the world's oldest joke, I don't know. I don't know it.
The woman goes to the wake before the people get there to view her husband's body. And she says to the mortician, she says, Charlie looks so good. But, Charlie always wished that he would be buried in a blue suit, not a brown suit. He didn't want to be buried in a brown suit. He wanted to be buried in a blue suit. And the mortician says, no problem, lady. Hey, Ernie, Change heads on number 6 and number 8.
Wow.
Hey,
You know,
hey,
that's a
it just
grand-
occurred to me
great
that we
joke.
have not ran a sponsors piece today. We really need to do that. It's a minute
And
and 20
you
seconds.
guys say goodbye to Gubs yet?
Oh, yeah, we're going to say goodbye to Govs after the commercial. After the commercial. So we got a minute and 20-second commercial. So while we're talking about getting high, we might as well promote Daily High Club. Daily High Club is not weed, but it's everything else you need instead of weed or to go along with your weed. Daily High Club, check it out. We'll be right back.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just another retailer. We're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box. Or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Get started today. Visit minddogtv.com and click on the banner on the homepage.
Yeah. Daily High Club. Bean Flicker, who is the president of Will's fan club, says that she goes drunk to funerals and it helps. I think I would be sloppy and make a fool of myself.
That makes more, funerals are so I hate to say it, but it was probably 10 or 20 years ago that me and 2 or 3 guys were at a funeral and we're standing in the back of the room. And because the guy that died was a dear friend since childhood, and we're standing there talking. And the next week, the same group was standing in the back of that same room talking. Only one of the guys that had been in the group now was in the box.
Wow.
So, like, I don't even like talking about, because we're all looking at each other like, it's like musical chairs. Like, who's not going to be here next week?
Right,
That's
yeah.
scary.
No, that
Speaking of
Yeah.
not going to be here next week, it's time to say goodbye to Govs. For at least a day. We'll probably be on tomorrow. I've been talking very nice about Govs, haven't I? I haven't said anything bad.
I think so.
They have no reason to cancel me.
I
over
want
8
to
views.
talk to Joe.